programs run by the CDC. Wall Street Journal says the cuts would be to youth violence programs, research on preventing gun deaths, and diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and tobacco use. And some encouraging news for those wanting coverage for expensive weight loss drugs. Sources say U.S. health officials are considering a pilot that would allow Medicaid and some Medicare drug plans to experiment with covering GLP-1 drugs for obesity, according to the Washington Post. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Jack Chitterelli, I've known you a long time, and you and I consider you a friend. We've gone to games together. We've hung out. I've done events for you. I'm doing more events for you coming up this fall. But it is sauce. It's not gravy. It's only gravy when you put meat in it. Come on, Jack.
In our house, it was only sauce when it was fish, so we make a fish sauce. Otherwise, it's a gravy, Rich. Come on, don't let me down. Don't make me call you the... You're not a minigun.
Oh, man. This is to be continued, all right?
Rich Cioli, weekday afternoon, 7, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. As Americans continue to pile up astounding credit card debt levels with high interest rates to make ends meet, debt relief is being made available through National Debt Relief that could reduce a significant portion of what you owe if you qualify. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take 25 or more years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, call National Debt Relief today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. Call the Relief Hotline now to what savings you may qualify for. Dial 876-3131. 800-476-3131. That's 800-476-3131.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie. Change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause. Brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Monday, August 4th. It is indeed Kayal and Company right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app. And, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure over on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210. That is the phone number. On social media at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Dawn Stensland with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Phil Omquist, Jimmy Kelly, our associate producers on a Monday, which means...
Get up, Harry! Come on, let's go!
Harry Mays will join us at 7:45 for the cut sheet. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm worried about Greg. His thing is drooping.
Can we get a freaking engineer in here? It's not even 6 a.m. and...
His thing is drooping.
The whole thing broke.
The microphone.
His mic went limp. It snapped.
Oop.
The twig snapped. The berries are still there, but the twig snapped. We do not have a firm, completely extended twig.
Jimmy Kelly's helping.
Jimmy comes right.
Thank you, Jimmy. He's giving the assist. Greg's face. We come on the air. I'm like, what is that? What is he doing?
All right, so who broke it, do you think? Was
Broke
it Daniel?
Greg's thing.
Was it Daniel Vowell Sunday night?
Oh.
Twirling it around?
Daniel.
Bending it left and down? Fiddling with it?
Daniel, quit fiddling with Greg's thing.
Sunday night's, big production.
Please.
Was it somebody on Saturday? Could it have been a board op on the Kathy Barnett show? Could it have been somebody else Sunday morning? Which producer will be held accountable? And you can still look, Jimmy Kelly's now switching out another microphone. This is great. We've got Jimmy Kelly in there doing his damnedest work. Look how quick he does this, by the way. This is riveting radio, by the way, folks. Look at this. Here he goes. He's already inserting the second one.
Put it to music.
Yep. I mean, this is less than 90 seconds here. And we're about to be up and running again. He's twirling it. He's twisting it. He's screwing it in tight. Now he's grabbing the cord. Once the cord connects to the...
hardworking union man. And we are like a union with one guy, Jimmy Kelly, working, and 3 of us watching.
Yeah. And
construction.
For all the podcasters out there, and everybody has a podcast these days, the Shure SM7 microphone is a great microphone. It's just the attachment that comes with it that are typically utter trash. They snap in half. They have a lower approval rating than the Democrat Party. About 19%. I think Wall Street Journal has them around 19%. But anywho, did you have a good weekend, Dawn?
I did. It flew. How about you?
It did. I'm down to 12 days till I leave the in-laws. 12 days,
Woo-hoo.
6 hours, and 58 minutes. I'm ready to go. Ready to pack up and ship off. We'll find out how Greg's weekend was in a moment. But we have a lot to get to today. We will get to a big take on the Democrats' brand and their lack of leader. Also, a lot on the Trump front Friday, from the jobs report to some repositioning with Russia. And also, speaking of repositioning, an update on one of the key people in the Epstein case, the Epstein story, the Epstein files. All of that in the big take this morning. Plus, CNN had another July collapse. The Wall Street Journal, very interesting story on Sydney Sweeney and the dilemma that Gen Z women face. We'll get to that this morning. The Cut Sheet, Fight Club, and a whole lot more. Harry Mays at 7:45. Stocker will continue to fiddle with his mic. Jimmy Kelly will get the accessories ready. And in the meantime, let's get down to business. Round one of the news at 6:03. The great Dawn Stensland.
Good morning. Monday morning, Kayal and Company News Live, sponsored this Monday morning, August the 4th, by Wisfis Bank and Bryn Mawr Trust, as the sun has just has risen. Beautiful peach sunrise out there right now. we want to get to all that's happening. Road rage resulted in the death of a motorcyclist accused of waving a gun and threatening a car driver as well as police. So this is a police-involved shooting following that road rage incident. Happened in Bucks County over the weekend, specifically in Bensalem. It's under investigation, and detectives say this all started when a motorcyclist was threatening a driver of a car with a gun. So this was around dinner time, Woodhaven Road, Route 13, Bensalem. Driver and a motorcyclist traveling northbound on Route 13. So police say that, and the police reports say they got into some kind of a dispute. So the driver of the car calls police when they say the guy riding the motorcycle flashed a handgun, waved a handgun at them, and threatened them. Well, there was an officer that was going the other direction, southbound on Route 13 at that time. So spins around, sees the motorcyclist and the driver, witnesses some of this apparently, and so caught up with them. And at this point, the man slid his motorcycle, they say, into the police vehicle and runs away. This becomes a foot chase. The officer chases him. They say the suspect still had that handgun in his right hand as he was running, and then turns toward the officer at one point, and the gun is going in the direction, pointing in the direction of that officer. That's when the officer, they say, feared for his life, and he fires in self-defense. So at this point, they performed first aid and transported the man to Jefferson Hospital, where he underwent surgery, and the officer was not injured.
Oh, thank God.
The people in the other, they have recovered that handgun, by the way.
Okay.
But we do have this as an investigation, as a road rage, type of investigation that's going on. So thankfully, they say none of the people in the car were shot, but they did fear for their life. So they have those witnesses that they're interviewing, all of that going on. So bringing that to you. Take you from Bucks County to Montgomery County, where a man is behind bars, this on child pornography charges. The district attorney's office announcing the arrest of 38-year-old Matthew Papalardo. He's of Lower Providence Township. So they say this guy was using an online app. We hear this more and more with these apps, that people from across the world, they say, share explicit images on some of these children on some of these apps. So they say using an online app where, like this, they found evidence where he was talking to two teens and getting nude images from them, 13 and 14-year-olds.
Oh, God.
So they get these kids, because that's the thing. They're sending them nude pictures. The kids think it's another kid, but it's not. It's a creepy man.
Mm-hmm.
Kids. And they found a locked folder on his phone, they say, with multiple nude photos of children, 45 counts of possessing child pornography. That's a piece of the charges here, the headline, and he's still being held right now. He's behind bars.
Good.
So we'll see if he makes his bail.
Firing squad. Disgusting. You're right, Dawn. You see him all the time. Right around the corner. Every week, some here. From the net to the apps now.
Eesh.
That's where the authorities need to be searching all these apps. The days of the internet chat rooms, those are long gone.
Yeah, and part of the problem is, and remember wasn't it WhatsApp that Hunter Biden was on?
Yeah.
He kind of made it more famous, but some of them are designed to delete the content within a certain period of time. So, of course, the kids might like that because they're worried about what their parents might see, but the problem is pedophiles love it.
Correct. Yeah. Great point.
So I don't know if you felt it, but there was, in fact, an earthquake that struck our region over the weekend. Did you feel it?
No.
So it was actually North Jersey, and in this one, it was North Jersey, but they felt it in as far as, this was like Bergen County, so North Jersey on that slight fault line, a 3.0 on the Richter scale, if you're keeping track. So in this one, it was felt in Central Park in New York, felt in the tri-state region.
Didn't we have one of those a year
and a half ago?
Yeah.
And that one was a big one. You're good memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This was not a big one.
Okay.
It was a 3.0.
It was a little one.
It's a little one.
Right.
But it was there.
Yeah.
So just a heads up on that one. No injuries or anything of that nature. In New Jersey, in Cinnaminson, New Jersey, this is a popular, well-known family market owned by a family that for generations has had a very popular farmer's market. And now we learn this really tragic news. A 77-year-old man, he died following this machinery accident at this farm. Like I say, kind of a famous farm if you know this area, Cinnaminson, New Jersey. So 911 was called at Hunter's Farm. This is the 1100 block of Union Landing Road yesterday morning. And they found John Howard Hunter. Mr. Hunter had suffered fatal injuries as a result of a machinery accident. They're not giving details at this time. The investigation is still ongoing, but some of the family members, his son putting out word, paying tribute. But just one of those people that everybody knew, loved to come from many miles around to this farmer's market, especially this time of year, and so it's just a real tragedy. So they're trying to figure out what was that machinery accident.
Awful. I love the good farmer's market. You get some Jersey corn, maybe some tomatoes, blueberries, just phenomenal. Something about the soil in New Jersey that's just different. That's what they say. They're trying to replicate some of them, especially the Jersey tomatoes. But that's why people were so upset. Remember, we heard that there were people from China, very wealthy, trying to buy up some of the blueberry farms. And it's like, what are you doing here? So I want to protect those farms. Hey, this was the death of a whale this morning. Learn more, hopefully, with a necropsy. Big news over the weekend, Ocean County. There were people speaking out. This video went viral, international actually, as this distressed minke whale, about a 20-foot whale, actually tipped a boat over, knocking at least one woman into the water, and was visibly, the whale was visibly in distress by all accounts. So we're getting some updates.
Stay here. Oh my God, they're going.
Oh, here we go.
So there she goes, the whale you see. Now, Greg,
that's a very small boat, too.
It's like a speedboat.
Yep.
That's like a boat, like how I learned how to water ski.
Okay.
But is that boat off? Did they turn their motor off, Greg? Can you tell that?
Greg's mic's off, so.
Oh, that's right.
Greg's mic is like the motor boat. It's incognito.
Greg has a handheld.
I'm going to start throwing things.
Greg is back with us, folks, with the handheld.
About 10 seconds.
He's got the stick mic. He's like
He's
Bob
got
Barker.
the whole wide world and his microphone in his hand.
The YouTube video is stuttering. There's no graphics. My microphone is broken.
Just go home.
I just texted. I just texted a group of people, and I just want answers about what is happening. Why do I come in here Sunday or Monday morning? And it's just like, it's a completely different place. What the hell happens here on the weekends?
I have no idea. I'm just glad my station
And if
is
you
no
try
longer
and
touched.
fix something on the YouTube, turn it back. Put it back. I don't know what to say. Anyway, I don't know if that video, I don't know if that boat was turned off. Can we roll that one more time, Phil?
This is going to be good. Here we go.
This is Phil Almquist now.
Phil's vacation can't start soon enough.
You see the boat.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to capsize.
And the whale is underneath it at some point. The whale is rest. And so.
Are you thinking it might have hit the.
The authorities heard from the authorities that they've said that boaters, if you see any kind of whale like this, you want to stay at least 150 feet away. Some people will get close. You're like, look, it's a whale. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that when you see a whale like that, shut off your motor.
Right.
So they unfortunately, they believe that it's possible that what happened was, and maybe not even by this boat, but that the whale was struck by by somebody's motor who got a little close, unfortunately. The whale wasn't where it was supposed to be either. This is Barnegat Bay, but shut off your motor immediately because the whale died.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just such a sad story. And so in this one, like I say, I'm not sure if the boat we're showing or the lady who was interviewed who was thrown out, I'm not even sure if that was the first boat that it hit.
Right.
But they're just saying, the whale, the experts were saying the whale looked like it was surrounded by boats and the boats got really close to it. And so was it struck by a motor and then it was, it was cut and then it started freaking out, bumping into other boats. So they're going to do the necropsy this morning. So we have that one going on. I know that you're going to talk about a lot of national news. We have so much: Trump, the economy, the jobs report, and as well, MusicFest, a huge success over the weekend. Nick's going to give his personal family connection to that. But we got to talk about our Phillies because we won the series of 3. But man, Christopher Sanchez getting a lot of love. Pitcher perfect, I'll say. And Schwarber's big hit in the 8th. So we wrapped up the Orioles, that series with the Orioles, or with the Tigers, I should say. Orioles are tonight, 6:45. Wrapped up that series, taking on the Tigers, 2-1. We won.
Mm-hmm. Now let me see this rule. I want to make sure I've got this correct. Yeah, Sanchez. The Tigers had a total of 5 hits yesterday. Good win for the Phils.
So it was really sweet stuff. A lot of people celebrating those, and then Eagles preseason this week with the Bengals. This morning, they'll be back at camp for this swampy weather.
Thursday night, we'll get to see Jalen Hurts for 3 plays. Maybe, if we're lucky.
If we see him at all,
If we see him at all, yeah. Probably won't play the first game. Yeah, to just get rid of the preseason. If we're not going to be able to see starters play, just get rid of it. Let's just do what they do with college. We'll get ready for Labor Day weekend.
Well, we are sponsored in Kayal and Company News Live with your forecast coming up in seconds. WSFS Bank, Bryn Mawr Trust, thank you for sponsoring us, because where there's a WSFS, there's a way. WSFS Bank, Bryn Mawr Trust, your goals matter. Discover local expertise with national capabilities, all with the personal service you deserve. WSFS, we stand for service. Thank you, WSFS Bank and Bryn Mawr Trust. We're back to pea soup and hot weather. It's pretty steamy. Going to be steamy, Nick, after a beautiful weekend.
Dawn. Yes, 65 degrees right now in Philadelphia, a high of 89 today. Plenty of sunshine. That'll be the high for the week, and then we are in the low to mid 80s. Sun for the entire week. No rain in the forecast until I move out of my in-laws, which is not until August 15th. So we're dry for the next 10 days or so. Philly weather brought to you by MT Rule, your Generac generator experts. That's MTRUHL.com. All right, coming up next, Stalker has never sounded better, plus a Monday Big Take. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-1313. 800-791-1313.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A leaf filter truck will come out and clean out your gutter line and seal your gutters and install a leaf filter. America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter trusted pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up.
Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through HIMS, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriati and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriati, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
At Virtua Health, we're redefining heart care.
Our heart rhythm team at Virtua is really working at the forefront of technology. There's constantly new advances.
Like cardiac clinical trials and breakthrough treatments for atrial fibrillation.
Treating atrial fibrillation with ablation and treating it early allows for the best outcomes for our patients. We can make a meaningful difference in patients' lives.
Virtua Health, here for complex heart care, here for good. More at virtua.org/hereforgood.
The working families of La Una Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
Celebrate the art of relaxation during the Spring Dance Hot Tubs Anniversary Sale, August 8th through Labor Day. Save up to $5,000 on in-stock luxury hot tubs from Hot Spring and Caldera, with additional savings for immediate delivery. Experience endless pool swim spas and swim all year round, starting at just $170 a month. Enjoy 50% off all endless pool accessories and save up to $2,000 on the only automated cover by Covana, the ultimate in spa elegance. Visit springdancehottubs.com for details. Financing available with approved credit. See stores for details.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh yeah, 622. You can feel the intensity in the rejoiner. It's Kayal and Company live on a Monday morning. Nick Dawn and the now mic'd up Greg Stocker as engineering has fixed the problem. Oh, we have a lot to get to today. Anything else you want to get off your chest, Mr. Stocker, before we get to a big take?
He's not.
Oh, wait a minute. Is the microphone not fixed? I don't even see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. I didn't see it in the shot. It's fixed. But Greg still steamed up. But that's fine. We have a lot to get to. He'll erupt again in a matter of minutes. Let's get to a Monday. Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
Which is brought to you by Bucks County Estate Traders. The Big Take, a Friday flurry of bipartisan bad news. You know, Fridays are quickly becoming the most active political day during the week. Seems like shortly after Kayal and Company, every Friday when we've wrapped up for the week, a blitzkrieg of headlines hits the newswire as things continue to look bleak for the Democrats and questions need to be answered within the Trump administration. It was another embarrassing week for the left as they continue to offer zero solutions while making 0 cents, headlined by no bigger joke than melting down over a beautiful lady in blue jeans. Harry Enton revealed the troubling news to the Democrat Party on CNN Friday afternoon. Listen and watch this.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democrats for president who's polling at 25%. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think, is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yes, sir.
And when it comes to the economy, we will get to the negative on the Trump side of the ledger. But first, another positive sign on the tariff front, courtesy also of CNN. Listen and watch.
What you see happening today is so far we're on a similar path where there's, again, no noticeable increase in inflation as a result of these tariffs. And in fact, not only that, but we put out a report a few weeks ago about how imported goods were actually getting cheaper relative to domestically produced goods.
So are people feeling the economy? Well, if you look at the negative, Vegas tourism dollars are dwindling. But here locally in Pennsylvania, I can give you firsthand credible news on a positive front. My mother-in-law, who we all know hates Donald Trump, told me that her business at musicfest this past weekend in Bethlehem, PA, on Saturday night alone raked in over $44,000. Last year, on the opening Saturday night under Biden and Harris, they did $37,000. I'm just saying. But the problem with the Democrats right now is that they continue to resist as their own problems persist. Michael Smerconish, who manned this seat for many years, had this to say on his Saturday morning show about Donald Trump and Democrats. Listen to this.
It might sound counterintuitive, but maybe what's in the party's best interest is to, dare I say, agree with Trump from time to time. Acknowledge wins on issues like NATO, trade, and the border, which have yielded some positive results, even while disagreeing with the way in which they can. It's a good thing that migration through our previously porous borders has slowed to a trickle, and that our NATO allies have agreed to increase their contribution from 2 to 5% of gross domestic product, and that the markets, despite having just had a rough week, have done well in the year to date. Inflation seems to be tamed. Plus, while Trump's tariff policy looked like it was implemented by the seat of his pants, thus far, all the doomsday fears have not panned out.
Acknowledge wins. Don't be a panickin'. Novel concept, but that's exactly what NPR and PBS have done after being defunded and exposed for exactly what they are, which is left-wing propaganda. The taxpayer-funded public broadcast corporation is taking their ball and going home. Reports coming out Friday that they are closing up shop, and by the end of September, they will be virtually non-existent. Complete and total cowardice. They didn't even try to sell advertisements and bring in clientele on the open market, despite having some very sellable features and content. Good riddance to a gutless operation. But American Eagle, they're not tucking their tail between their legs. Nope. In fact, the denim giant doubles down and refused to apologize in light of Sydney Sweeney and the outrage over blue jeans. American Eagle posting the following statement on Instagram on Friday, quote, Sydney Sweeney has great jeans, is and always was about the jeans, her story. We'll continue to celebrate however one wears their American Eagle jeans with confidence their way. Great jeans look good on everyone. More on the culture wars coming up in hour 2. But now we get to the Trump side of the ledger. A trifecta of headlines dropping on Friday, from the economy to global conflicts to the looming dark Epstein cloud. But let me start with the economy. The jobs report was revised and downsized. So Trump decides to fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner. Here is what 47 had to say about that move. Listen and watch.
The jobs report today were rigged.
I think so. And if you look at before the election, the same kind of thing happened. And I think you'll see some very interesting information come out. But you have to have honest reports. And when you look at those numbers, or when you look at just before the election, and then after the election they corrected it by 800,000 or 900,000 jobs, yeah, I would say so.
Here's my problem with this move. Is the firing justified? Absolutely. Dr. Erica McIntyre is the only one who was canned, and justifiably so. But my question and issue is, why was she still employed to begin with as a holdover from the Biden-Harris administration? She had to revise 45 of 48 jobs reports in her 4 years. Translation, she was only correct and accurate 3 out of 48 times. In any other walk of life, going 3 for 48 leads to not being retained. Her employment should have ended January 21st. Moving ahead, we get to Russia. This is a move that makes me cringe a little, but I think it's necessary. Trump has repositioned 2 nuclear subs because his patience is exhausted by Putin and Russia. Here was his rationale for this move on Friday. Listen and watch.
Where are being deployed nuclear submarines. Oh, yeah. Well, we had to do that. We just have to be careful. And a threat was made, and we didn't think it was appropriate, so I have to be very careful. So I do that on the basis of safety for our people. A threat was made by a former president of Russia, and we're going to protect our people.
Does that sound like a move made by a puppet for Russia? I kind of wish he was, but Trump is the ultimate FAFO president. He will give you time. He will give you rope. He will extend deadlines on trade or peace. But if you make a fool of him, then he goes in for the kill. Ask Iran. Peace through strength, but it only occurs if you follow through with threats after giving ample opportunity to fall in line. And finally, we get to Epstein. As reports indicate, Ghislaine Maxwell was on the move from Florida to Texas in a less secure prison. You know what I'm thinking, right? Probably the same thing all of you are thinking. Another absolute joke and a total charade. But between this story and the Russia, Obama, Clinton story, MAGA is going to lose their minds if 47 goes 0 for 2 on these 2 salacious but ultimately non-consequential to Americans' everyday bottom line issues. You'll hear from one person who thinks MAGA will revolt if indictments don't happen, and that's coming up on the cut sheet later this morning. But in conclusion, for the weekend that was, the Democrats are a total dumpster fire, but Trump, he still has some loose ends to tie up, and all of us who live this on the daily are watching, and that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
Which is brought to you by Bucks County Estate Traders. Furnish your home, make a statement for summer with one trip to Bucks County Estate Traders. Browse over 16,000 pieces of all high-quality, famous brands meticulously cared for and curated by their experts. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield. 855-839-1210. If you want to jump in, you can let it rip on X at 1210 WPHT. And, of course, the YouTube chat is a great place to leave your comments. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. All right, Dawn, I'll start with you. I think the one thing that bothered me the most was the jobs report, the revision, the firing, and then looking at some of the data points as well as the timeline of this individual over the last 4.5 years. Your thoughts on the way that played out, because I think that was probably the biggest negative headline for Trump going into the weekend?
Yeah, and this morning, and I think that the Trump administration, there were those out there still talking about it yesterday on the Sunday shows, all the headlines this morning saying that, well, up until Trump came into office, Erica McHentarfer was, had bipartisan support, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. If you're wrong, and so her reports that she's responsible were wrong during the previous administration, but they benefited President Joe Biden, and we reported on it frequently,
every month,
right?
Yeah.
And right before the election, those great job numbers came out. Those had to be revised. So it just is a really, really bad look. If you have numbers that are all wrong, but they benefit the Democrat, and then a Republican gets in, and the numbers are all wrong, and then they skew things in not so flattering of a way for the Republican who gets in there.
45 out of 48 times revisions. You can't get your math straight. If Nick Castellanos goes 3 for 48, Rob Thompson's benching him. If Kayal and Company dwindles in the ratings 45 out of 48 months, Kayal and Company will no longer exist on 1210 WPHT. How this person was able to remain in that position, I would have got it. To me, that administration was so bad. If I'm Trump on January 20th, there's not one single holdover, not in any department. I'm just gutting, and I know it's easier said than done, but I'm just gutting the whole thing.
And it sounds like they were already. So I know that the National Economic Council director, right, Kevin Hassett, he was on with, I think, Shannon Bream yesterday morning, trying to soften this a little bit, but also talking about the fact that these numbers can never be partisan. And so his explanation in part was that they knew there were problems, that something happened during the pandemic where their formula was off. And rather than adjusting it, and this happened apparently during the Biden administration, that they knew this was off and nobody was going back and trying to tweak the formula. So it's like that math class, where you have the formula you're using or whatever, it's the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like for some reason they just were failing to upgrade the formula. Now, did they know that it was a formula that they could manipulate? I don't have that answer.
Right.
But they were just saying, no matter how you look at it from the previous administration to this one, this office lost credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, even though maybe you could say, well, it benefited Biden. Well, then some people are arguing, no, it really did not benefit Biden because you had it just looked bad.
Right.
It looked like they were purposely skewing the numbers.
Well, he loved the numbers when they benefited him. Trump did.
Everybody would, right?
So,
and
also a former labor commissioner says that they revise the numbers every year. So it's not
like this though. That was the problem, Greg.
Here's
and I'm talking about
numbers.
During the Biden administration. To be fair,
last year under this person's management, the jobs data was so far off that they had to make a revision of 818,000 jobs. It was the largest downgrade since 2009. And now again, this same person in the past 2 months had to make a revision of 258,000 jobs.
Yeah, they were off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my whole
it's
thing.
not exact science.
No, but when you're wrong 90% of the time, how do you keep your job? That's my beef.
Well, there's a whole industry of talk radio hosts who are wrong 90% of the time and they keep their jobs.
Yeah, but we don't affect. I mean, the stock market. Everybody freaked out. If you look at those headlines Friday, that everybody was freaking out over this when those numbers came out. Wall Street reacted.
Right.
And it affects things. I mean, that's just it. When you get these kind of numbers, the Dow dropped more than 500.
Most layoffs since the pandemic.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Some industries are starting to panic. I don't understand why. Jamie Dimon just said so far so good on Thursday.
Well, but part of I think the point that they're making is that if the correct numbers had come out, they're saying, would the Fed have lowered the numbers after meeting?
Let's hear.
Do you know what I mean?
Let's hear from this former labor commissioner.
This is damaging. This is not what we need to have.
So, a couple follow-ups for you, but let's start on the revisions piece. One of the things that the president posted about, he says this is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2000. by approximately 818,000 jobs, and then again right before the presidential election. Talking about the overall year in that first bigger number, right? Does he have any point here when he said that, well, things looked politically better for my opponent back at the time than they actually were?
Well, I don't think the timing, even if that were a good argument. First revisions were announced, the preliminary estimates were announced in August. And in August, right in the middle of the campaign, the Democratic candidate was faced with much fewer job growths than expected. I suspect the candidate Harris would have liked to have run on 818,000 more jobs in the economy. And then the final revision came out as 600,000. And here's another thing. We always revise the number. Every year we revise the numbers. When I was commissioner, we had a 500,000 job revision during President Trump's first term. And why do we do that? Because firms are created or firms go out of business, and we don't really know that during the course of of the year until we reconcile against a real full count of all the businesses. We do that once a year. Once we do the reconciliation, like reconciling your checkbook, you find out whether you've got as much money or you have less.
So, you know what? I don't do reconciliation anywhere except church. What they're describing is ridiculous. Get it together, people. Do better.
Yeah.
You know, this affects our economy. And if, you know, so now, by the way,
so do tariffs.
If I'm Jerome Powell, I would simply say, look, if I had known these jobs numbers, because they revised them all the way back to what, the spring, Nick? I mean, that was the May number. So if you go back,
May and June,
so these were some numbers that if the Fed had those numbers, they would have changed the interest rates.
True, for sure. 855.
All I know is everybody who's had her job or has been in that job is sticking up for her. The only people that are not are this administration.
No, actually, in the defense, to your point, Greg, I think that Hassert, who I mentioned earlier that was on Fox, I think that Kevin Hassett, the National Economic Council director, even though the headline, because it was on Fox with Shannon Bream, even though the headline says he appeared to back Trump with an alleged, partisan pattern, but if you watch that whole interview, he actually says, Erica, he says something like, she's a fine lady and she's a fine person or something like that. I think he was trying to mitigate some of the harshness of the comments. He was going more toward the formula, the flawed formula that they've been using that they know is a big problem.
Also, want to get to this and let Stalker get his pound of flesh. I think a big story that kind of flew under the radar, I wanted to make sure it was in the big take, as NPR and PBS are basically shutting down operations. ABC News with a headline on Friday essentially saying they are eliminating a ton of jobs and will be pretty much going dark by the end of September. I think they're going to still be around in some very minimized fashion. But this didn't even last 6 weeks since officially defunding of the taxpayer-funded broadcast outlet. And Stalker, your thing has been for years on this show is go out there and compete like we have to.
Yes.
They a month and a half in and they say we're done.
Well, their whole business model was ripped out from underneath them. I don't care, but their whole business model was they can't. When all of if all of our money just went away here, we wouldn't be able to. You know what I mean? Because then you need the infrastructure to actually start selling and start, you know what I mean? So, it takes time to build up something like that. So,
flat-footed thinking that this would never materialize?
I do. Absolutely.
Because if you can read the writing on the wall, then all of a sudden, and I don't know if they have sales reps or not, but if you don't, you start hiring people, you start putting together a blueprint on how we can monetize our programming. It shouldn't be that difficult.
I know the headlines are salacious, shutting down, but does that really mean WHYY is just going to not cease to exist?
I don't know on an affiliate by affiliate basis, but it does look like they are going to pretty much strip 90% of their programming. I'm guessing maybe, the Sesame Streets survive. I'm not, to be honest, I've never listened to NPR, so I don't know which station in select big market might survive, but they've got, hundreds of affiliates, right?
Well,
so you got to imagine the small market ones, those are gone.
But this is the corporation itself. So the corporation then funnels money. Here's the little lie here. Okay. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, they were the ones created, Lyndon B. Johnson, basically created by the government. So, of course, I think they have to shut down because, like Greg said, their business model, their whole creation was by the government. And the corporation, the bureaucrats who funnel the money to our local stations, radio and TV, they're the ones winding down operations by this September. Maybe a bare bones staff remains. But to me personally, I actually think then the next question is, okay, they don't have the government arm of, like $1 billion, but we learned that all of their combined budgets actually are that $1 billion, which funded the corporation, only accounted for a small percentage of the overall national budget. So I suspect that these local stations will be local stations, whether they're TV stations or whether they're the radio stations. But this is the corporation that ran them that's defunded. I don't think that necessarily translates
I agree.
to the local places dying. I think, in truth, they won't have any corporate ownership. I think they might find that they're freer. I think they may serve the local community better.
Interesting. Okay. 855-839-1210. The number will come back, wrap up the hour with a couple of your calls, and then also a couple of media updates, including Stephen Colbert. He already has a new gig. Details on the other side. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, back after this.
Whether you're hitting the beach, maybe you're coming back from the shore right now, or maybe cruising through the city this summer, why not do it in style? The Honda Summer of Performance event is going on right now at my favorite Honda dealers, Piazza Honda. And right now is the time to get behind a new Honda Civic, Accord, or a CRV with unbeatable leases and low finance rates. Hurry. Summer savings, they won't last. Drive to Piazza Honda of Philadelphia. That's where I got my HRV recently. Or Langhorne, or Pottstown, or Reading, or Springfield. Do this today. You can always go online, piazzahonda.com, Piazza, piazzahonda.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Have you recently had an HVAC company out for a $59 AC tune-up, and the service tech tells you there are 3 other things that need to be fixed that would cost you hundreds, if not more, dollars? That's because these clowns are really salesmen, not service techs. At Marvin E. Cans, we can't tune up your system for only $59, but we will tune it up for a fair price, and that's all we'll do. If you want an honest HVAC company, then contact us at marvinekanze.com.
Are you having trouble? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts.